मोहम्मद फलक फर्ज राज़े कमाल मोहम्मद चे गोयद कसे वस्फ हाल मोहम्मद चे गोयद कसे वस्फ हाल मोहम्मद जहाँ रोशन است از جمال محمد جहाँ روशन است از جمال محمد جहाँ روशन جहाँ روशन است از جمال محمد دلم زنده شد از وصال 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 محمد جहाँ روशन است از جمال محمد جहाँ روशन است از جمال محمد آه جمال محمد جمال جمال محمد جمال جمال محمد جمال جمال محمد جمال محمد جمال محمد جहाँ روशन است از جمال محمد دلم زنده شد از وصال محمد دلم زنده شد از وصال محمد دلم زنده شد از وصال محمد سہ ذکر حسن محبت بنا ہے سہ ذکر حسن محبت بنا ہے اور زہ ماجرائے تمنائے ماں ہے زہ ماجرائے تمنائے ماں ہے زہ ذوق آہے ندائے نگاہ زہ ذوق آہے ندائے نگاہ زہ منبر و مسجد و خانقاہ زہ منبر و مسجد و خانقاہ زہ منبر و زہ منبر و مسجد و خانقاہ زہ منبر مسجد و خانقاہ کہ دروے بود قیل و قال محمد 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 نظر کی جوانی جمال دلارا نظر کی جوانی جمال دلارا ہے نظر کی جوانی جوانی نظر کی جوانی جوانی نظر کی جوانی جمال دلارا دلارا نظر کی جوانی نظر کی جوانی نظر کی جوانی جمال دلارا بہار تصور کسی کا نظارہ بہار تصور کسی کا نظارہ आशिकारा, ये मेरा दर अल्लाह
वो आशिकारा,
खुशा जज्ब गुबिन गरज मुस्तबारा,
खुशा चश्म तू बिन गरज मुस्तबारा, खुशा चश्म तू
अल्लाह
गरज मुस्तबारा,
खुशा जज्ब
तू बिन गरज मुस्तबारा, खुशा चश्म खुशा चश्म तू बिन गरज मुस्तबारा, गरज मुस्तबारा, खुशा चश्म तू बिन
गरद मुस्तबारा, खुशा दिल के दारद ख्याल मोहम्मद,
खुशा दिल के दार ख्याल मोहम्मद, खुशा दिल के दार ख्याल मोहम्मद,
नजर की जवानी जमाल दिलारा,
नजर की जवानी जमाले दिलारा,
बहार तसव्वुर किसी का नजारा,
बहार तसव्वुर किसी का नजारा,
ये मेरा दर पर्दा वो आशिकारा,
ये मेरा दर पर्दा वो आशिकारा,
खुशा जज्ब गुबिन गरद मुस्तबारा,
खुशा चश्म तू बिन गरज मुस्तबारा, खुशा चश्म तू बिन गरज मुस्तबारा,
खुशा जज्ब गुबिन गागा बाबा बाबा गदनी दनी बाबा बाबा नी दनी रे रे सा गागा बाबा बाबा गदनी दनी बाबा बाबा नी दनी ता गामा नी दनी ता गामा नी दनी दनी सा नी दनी 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 सा जज्ब
गरज मुस्तबारा, खुशा चश्म तू बिन खुशा चश्म तू बिन गरज मुस्तबारा,
गागा मारे जानी जानी बाबा बागा मानी ने दा ने सा रे रे गागा बाबा गामा गदनी दनी बाबा बागा मानी दनी ता गामा नी दनी ता गामा नी दनी 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 ता खुशा जज्ब
गरज मुस्तबारा,
है खुशा दिल के दारद ख्याल
खुशा दिल के दार ख्याल मोहम्मद, खुशा दिल के दार ख्याल मोहम्मद,
मिली हमको आसिम वो आली मकामी,
मिली हमको आसिम वो आली मकामी,
के है सरनगू बादशाह सामी,
के है सन्नतू बादशाह निज़ामी,
कहा ताजो तख्त और कहा ये गुलामी,
कहाँ तारो तख्त और कहाँ ये गुलामी,
बसत को सफा गश्ता बेचारा जामी,
मस्जिद को सफा गश्ता बेचारा जामी,
गश्ता बेचारा जामी, गश्ता बेचारा जामी,
गश्ता बेचारा जामी, गश्ता बेचारा जामी, गश्ता बेचारा जामी,
बसत को सबा गश्ता बेचारा जामी, गुलाम गुलामान आले मोहम्मद,
गुलाम गुलाम आले मोहम्मद,
So we'll just remain in the awareness state. And then we'll extend through our bodies, extending awareness of awareness, awakening awareness in our bodies, awakening the centers, all the way down into the earth. All the way up to the navel, the heart, palate, eyes, top of the head, above the head. And then we learn to extend this field through the body, beyond the body, into the immediacy of our situation, which is the true mandala. And this extension, this resonance, is ultimately the light meeting the light. And the light entering the light. And this practice is practiced in many, many mystic traditions. It's not the extension of our mind. And with extension, the pervasive state arises in depth and breadth. Then it's much easier to integrate our mind into the field. And then the field dissolves the mind or infuses it and makes it its own. So let's extend to each other, inside to inside. The light opens the light. And then with that, oneness arises. Wherever the field is and wherever it's felt, there's oneness. If it's extended in our body, then our body feels more cohesive and more in oneness, less fragmented. When we extend it to the situation, we feel in oneness. Oneness doesn't mean complete agreement or even similarity. Then having established ourselves in the immediacy of our situation, which is actually the unfolding of our life, will extend to the generation of feel, of which we're expressions of and manifestations of. So in gratitude that we're here, will extend to the ancestors. The light again extends to the light. The Guru is light. Then, having extended to our generation of field, the ancestors, we'll extend to our teachers, the great yogis and gurus, holy people we've met who embody the light so completely that the invisible becomes visible. Like one of our great teachers who have come here many, many times is Lama Wandor, who's a great, great, great Lama. Totally democratic person. Transmits through speech and beyond speech. And his wonderful translator, Lena, who is now the person who's carrying his lineage, both in Dzogchen and Mahamudra, and she'll be coming here today. She's a great translator, has a master of language. And in the Tibetan traditions, the translators have always been very important because they've translated so many of the Indian texts where most of this stuff comes from into Tibetan and now into English and everything else. And feeling the inner connection to the great gurus of the different traditions gives you and I complete support. And feeling the sense of lineage in the various traditions gives you complete support. And all these extensions dissolve solipsism, the binding of the body. Slowly but surely. So then we'll extend to the different traditions we participate in. And all the traditions themselves are fields of knowledge, information, and light articulated over the centuries. And those articulations and those words and symbols are iconic and help us sense, attune ourselves to the non-language aspect. And we feel those fields mixing in our bodies. Then we'll extend to that dimension of our own awareness, that's just very mysterious and ineffable, the archetypical, the apparitional dimension. Devas and Dakinis, gods and goddesses, the energies, the primordial energies of gnosis, of awareness. And we do that because it helps bring forth that dimension in our own self, makes explicit what is so implicit. More light. And so as we meditate together and stay in the meditation state, I'm going to speak a little bit about what the yogis call the theophanic manifestation. And most of this stuff is just always saying the same thing in different ways. So the great Greek word phanes means apparition or appearance. And theophanes means the appearance of divinity. Not the belief in divinity, not the hope in divinity, not the betting on divinity, not begging divinity, but the actual experience of the appearance of divinity in one's life. So the Greek word phano means to show or to manifest or display or appear. It's appearing and showing and manifesting. It is apparitions. So phanino means to bring to light or to bring into the light the appearance. It opens. The appearance opens. And phaneros means to show or to make manifest. In Western philosophy of phenomenology, it comes from this word, the experience of appearance, and the unfolding of the multidimensionalness of appearance as you gaze into appearance, and the articulation of appearance, giving it language, is knowingness. And the path of Dzogchen, Mahamudra, Shaivite path also, is the path of awareness within appearance. That as I hold awareness within the appearance of my life, of my unfolding life, it's the path of awareness within appearance and the path of appearance within awareness. So ultimately it's very untheoretical. And the path of phenomenology is the articulation of the appearing, whatever's appearing within experience, being able to put it to words in an experiential near manner, which actually brings forth appearance. So theophany means the apparition of divinity within and through appearance. Divinity manifesting through phenomena. So theophany is the apparition of divinity, the deities, the gods, the goddesses, Deus. And so awareness, as you and I know, is multidimensional. And this wonderful, wonderful, mysterious awareness that you and I are may be considered a theophanic or theophany. We often think about this theophany in its vertical or ascendant horizons. It's like the geometry of ascendance, rising up, vortexing up of a manifestation. So at first there's just this pure awareness, unbound openness of the dark luminosity, the Dharmakaya, to use Buddhist language. Then arising out of that is the light, the different lights, the different elements arising and manifesting, cosmic light manifesting, and vortexes, and the archetypical dimension of the deities and devas and dakinis, those qualities, configurations of qualities. And then the next dimension is us, and the elements become flesh. The light becomes flesh. Or another way of thinking it, arising out of the void, the light is the elements configurate, and then the powers of consciousness begin to manifest, congeal, and then they manifest as the earth element, the element of flesh, luminous flesh. But this vertical presentation, sort of ground up, unknown into knowingness, but this vertical presentation is only one imagined form of this geometry. But so this theophany, or this theophanic world, is also completely horizontal. And so one enters the theophanic dimension directly through what is in front of us. One learns to enter the doorway through what is directly in front of oneself. And though this is esoteric, it is for everyone. So you can enter directly into the dimensions of awareness, Namanakaya, Sambhogakaya, Dharmakaya, through what is in front of you, or what is behind you, what is within you, and what is around you, even what is above you. So the relational world, this whole world, is theophonic. It is iconic. That is the secret of esoteric understanding. The theophonic availability. Of course, this theophonic discourse, this way of thinking and living, is the manifestation of love. Pure love. Cosmic love personified. So the theophonic a way of life, the theophonic mystic life, is not transcendent. It is not transcendental, and it is not dissociative. It's quite the opposite. It is embodiment of the different dimensions. It is cosmic love personified. The singularity of love, of belovedness, just like this for the Sufis, the belovedness is the field. The field is the beloved. So the singularity of love, of the belovedness, is the singularity of eachness, or suchness, to use the Buddhist language, Tathagata. The suchness, eachness. And this cosmic within the personal, and the personal within the cosmic. And in the theophonic love, all love is cosmic. Whether you love a person, you love this animal, this cat, you love this child, you love this friend, you love this house, the city, you love this particular car. From the theophonic point of view, it's all doorways, quite the same. All love is cosmic compassion, personalized. In our poor society, eros has become quite narrowed, and now is considered simply sexuality and a kind of discharge mechanics, mechanistics, electrically bound. But within the great masters, and whether it's Greek or Dzogchen, Mahamudra, as well as Sufis like Il-Arabi, Christian alchemists, love and eros, love in the life force, love in the Shakti, love and the chi are exactly the same. And of course, love is the master of us all. And we, its servants. So love is the theophonic manifestations. And so you and I are the theophonic manifestation of pure love. whether you believe it or not, whether you think it or not, and whether you deny it or not, negate it. Love, Eros, is God. God is Eros and love. Ubi caritas et amor Deus EBS, and perhaps the most famous of all the medieval mystics. Wherever love is, there's God. So it's not love that the lover falls in love with, but the divinity made manifest by love. That's why the Dzogchen masters see all human beings as deities. First luminous flesh, then the deity appears. Doesn't mean a little blue person with 7 arms and hatchets are inside you. As Dante describes his own experience at his first sight of Beatrice, who was very young when he met her, and then died a few years later, it was totally cosmic and personal. And from that meeting, divinity began to light his life. Hmm. For the Dzogchen Shaivite, as well as Sufism, such as Il Arabi, was an Andalusian Sufi, love is cosmic and personal, and it's always theophonic. So you want to open what seems to be highly contained and interpersonal and psychological. For the mystic, you really have to get beyond that. It's a very narrow box. As Swami Muktananda used to say so many times, whatever you love, there is God. That is divinity. Whatever you love. You love your toe. That's where the divine opens. So true spirituality in these ecstatic traditions is an anima experience, psyche, not mind, psyche. So of course, the love of Yeshitogo and Padmasambhava is a theophonic description. And the oneness of the couple, like Samattabhadra and Samattabhadri, that's the deities embracing each other. Is indicative of the oneness of the masculine and feminine in your own person. In your own person. That blending. That liberation of balance. And it's also the theophonic experience of the love between 2 or 5. And between people, friends, pets, animals, flies, trees. The practice of the inner heart essence, the Nintik, is the path of love. And it's a theophonic path of non-dual oneness of luminous flesh, of actually being able, through extension, to enter into oneness with human beings, and with animals, and trees, and plants. And with a little practice, it is easy. So say the yogis. It is not transcendent. It is not leaving. Space makes place for the manifestation of the anima. Now that's a little tricky, isn't it? You have to have some space, which is awareness, some openness for the anima to come forth. Space makes place for the anima mundi, for the world itself as the anima, psyche. The dakini is the animistic expression of primordial awareness. So the dakini metaphor, the dakini symbol, the dakini reality, like in Dzogchen, is the incarnating of the anima dimension. And it's in her many forms. As source, like Tromonagmo is source, the dark mother is source. As the apparitional vortexual, like the Kurukule, the apparitional vortexes. As human beings, like a Yeshitogo. And the earth itself is a dakini. As you release your mechanistic view of the world, the anima can come through. Skillful means is masculine. The mechanistic view is masculine. Although patriarchal in institutionalization, like Tibetan Buddhism, the path of awareness, or any of the isms, at least until recently, now they're going down a bit. The path of awareness is the anima. Gnosis is anima. Direct perception is the feminine dimension. Gnosis is love itself. That's why they go so close. To true compassion and gnosis are exactly the same. There was an amazing, amazing group, and a secret group that crossed the boundaries of Sufism and the Christian medievalists. It was called the Fedeli dell'Amore, the Servants of Love. And this wonderful field went through Spain, Andalusian Spain, into Italy. And it was like a half moon between these different countries. And Dante was a member. You had to be invited, like any secret society. And actually he wanted to be invited, as I'll be distracting right now. He wanted to be invited, so he would write poems about the secret society he had heard about, you know. And then eventually Caravati, who was one of the members, writes him a poem, and then they write poems back and forth, and eventually he becomes a member. Great Sufi, Il-Arabi, Rumi, Rubens Bakri of Sirac were also members of Fedeli dell'Amore. And this last Sufi wrote a treatise called The Jasmine, the fragrance of the Fedeli dell'Amore. Marcello Fico, very famous medievalist, was a member. Shakespeare himself wrote in Love, Labour's Lost, wrote a defense, actually speak causes of the Fedeli dell'Amore. The Sufi Il-Arabi, a member, falls in love with a young woman named Harmony of Eye of the Sun and Beauty. And through her, he gains the revelation of Sophia, the direct perception of luminosity in the Sufi tradition. As one reads the different experiences and texts of the Dzogchen Mahamudra Siddhas, the Siddha traditions, whether Swami Muktananda, Hindu, or Tolopa, Longchenpa, all these, Manchik, there's a vast emphasis on human love. And the mysterious conjunctio, the mysterious oneness, as a direct manifestation of non-dual oneness of divinity. So, we'll remain in awareness. once you have awareness, once you have that space, and once you have that energy, and once you have that clarity, that light, then the entire esoteric doorway is open for you. So, as you approach the doorway, you have to cut through doubt or foreclosure. You have to undo doubt and foreclosure. Foreclosure means it sounds good, but it just ain't for me. As Kapilorji says in his three key words, the first master of Dzogchen, there's a transmission that you have. Stay in the experience and have no doubt. The enemy is doubt. The enemy, the demon of doubt and the demon of foreclosure. But when we have doubt and we have foreclosure, we think it's real. We think this is just the facts. This is just the fact of this person that I happen to be. So you cut through that. So let's lean into each other right now. We may have never even tried this before, but let's lean into each other with our awareness. So, every person, animals, trees, cars, planes, bikes, all the stuff, paintings or doorways. So for the Dzogchen master and the Sufi masters, everything is a doorway. Everyone is a doorway. And which is such a great relief is you don't necessarily even have to like them. For people to be doorways. You might be start with people with things you like. But actually, to get beyond that, everything is a doorway. Every person. And this is not just being a goody-goody, because a lot of power is released in your being. So, you can lean whatever's in front of you, whoever's in front of you. You can extend your awareness, and then you can extend it that you can enter into that person. You're not mind reading. It is the light and the energy, the chi meeting the chi, the Shakti meeting the Shakti, the field meeting the field, the inner yin meeting the outer yin. In this frames, that's why realization can be attained. It's so direct. There are many other paths, but they take lifetimes after lifetimes, where you try and purify and purify and purify your awareness to just a spot of awareness. As you do this practice, your body becomes more porous, and the binding, the locked-in binding begins to become less bound. So it has a fluid, becomes more easily opened. It's opened. Huh? as you gain skill and mastery at this level, only by doing it, by practice, only by doing it, then the oneness, the light gets stronger in you. Then you can then extend to the Sambhogakaya dimension. You don't have to wait till you have it in the Namaka, but then you can extend to the cosmic energies, huh? The deities, those Shaktis and those powers. And you will gain more power and light, and that dimension will start to come through you. And then within your own being, or in front of you, Dharmakaya begins to manifest. Vast, vast space, luminous darkness. And then you feel yourself in that dimension also. once you have a little bit of confidence in this operatio, then it's yours. You know, and you can be strange and nuts and angry and all sorts of things. You with me? That doesn't stop this from working. That's the essence of the Vajrayana, huh? So, you know what? Today we have a small group, which I really like. I tend to like small groups. And so hardly anybody's here today. Probably some people maybe on the internet. So I'm going to pass the mic around. We don't usually do this in our meditation because we have a lot of people. But I just like to put people with mind. You don't have to share if you don't want to. But I'd like you to share or articulate what your experience of extension is. Just today, what was it like to feel your capacity of entering the doorways? And if you don't want to share, you can just pass the mic back to me.
And there was a beautiful, sweet experience of extending, where it was sweet, like candy. I guess that's the only thing. It was really a texturized sweetness, and the energetic field was light, and my face lit with, and I could feel a smile from the inside out, really, you know, as though I had just had the most delicious ice cream cone or something like that. It was just palpable, that sense of sweetness, that the passing through experience.
Thank you so much.
I didn't want to sound arrogant, but I felt like I was a star, and the rays of this star were meeting with the rays of the other stars that were in front of me. Thank you.
I used to extend thinking about the surface of my body, and but as I'm appreciating extending from the inside to the inside, it brings a whole new dimension of accessibility to, I'm not sure how to put it into words, but an entirely different sense of what I'm going for.
My experience immediately is sort of a bumping up of intensity and intimacy.
I feel like I'm so extended, and the other person too, that there's no separation, and yet I feel there's like a transmission or a connection between us where things are moving and heightening.
That text by Bodhidharma, there's a transmission beyond words and letters. Doesn't belong to any tradition. It's the very nature of human awareness. That is the Buddha. And that is fantastic capacity. Thank you. Beautifully described.
I guess I start out with my my body gets all tingly, and then I start, I don't know, exploding out is kind of the word, because I'm in my body, and yet I'm part of a bigger universe, and I often see lights and rainbows, and that was not as intense today as it has been other times, but it was pretty intense with.
And what I like is everybody's using some key words that you find actually in these texts, like intensity, huh? And the difference between Rigpa, awareness of awareness, and Ma Rigpa, which is Ma Rigpa means samsara, and between samsara and nirvana is intensity, the intensity of the luminous vibration, huh? And that's why, samsara is not a function of just, bad will, but the capacity to hold the intensity and cultivate it. The light brings a better place. Oneness, Rigpa. So it's about 8:30. We'll meditate for 5 minutes now, okay? Now, you actually learn to meditate in stillness, to have space that the animistic dimension can arise in you or descend in you. You cultivate, this is not Western meditation, okay? You cultivate meditation that there's enough space, open space. Then the anima mystic dimension arises in you, huh? Arises in you, manifests within you, and then the world begins to change for you. We'll end with the mantra. Omahung Bodhisatta or Bodhicitta Mahasuka Yanadatu A. Om Ahung Bodhisatta Mahasuka. Great sweetness, bliss. Yana, direct perception. Datu A, in every situation. We can start to end up now. We can rub our hands together and place it on our heart. And all the traditions just usually some form of sealing the experience. That means that it's like giving your body a signal that you can stay in the awareness field throughout the day. Thanks everybody for coming today. I was like, we have a few people. We won't always be inquiring into your experience, but today I thought it would be a nice day. And tomorrow, Lama Lena will be here. And you should come around 8:30 or a little early to get a good seat. It'll be probably pretty crowded, to say the least. And it'll go like from 9 to 12, and then there'll be, I think, a 2-hour break for lunch, and then from 2 to 5. And she's a really very, very good speaker. And the text is fantastic. It's one of the problem. I don't think it's a translated text, but it's I've heard it one time before, and it's really great. It's on self-arising awareness in spontaneity and nakedness, how it just arises so naturally. It's an exquisite text, and we'll have a great time. And then Sunday, same thing, it'll be like from 9 to 12 also. Thank you all. If you have a little scarf, you could bring it, those little white scarves. Good question. Typically, it's not when lamas come. But, she's a much more contemporary, person. And she understands the internet. And so I'm going to ask her and see if she says yes. If she says yes, I'll put it on the internet. If she lets it be recorded, I'll record it, and then we'll play it another time. So I just don't know. I have to see how it happens. Thank you, guys. See you later. There's since Sharon's not here, there's water upstairs. Teabag, yeah. And you can use the bathroom. Thank you all. See you later.